Speaking of harem-like shows where the main character gets into a one-on-one relationship early, we have SAO. The show has waned in popularity compared to its heyday, but it was the big thing that had the internet buzzing both positively and negatively. SAO gets its success mainly from its very interesting premise, but I dare say that the other major factor for its popularity is in the chemistry of the main couple. Some would say that Kirito and Asuna may not have the best written romance in terms of what we've seen in anime, but you can't deny that the chemistry is there. The two really complement each other, and the pairing just hits that sweet spot in terms of wish fulfillment romance. It's a reprieve from the supposed seriousness of Aincrad, and it emphasizes the actual theme of the series. Yes, it's not about the death game or survival. You can check out my video on that on my video essay channel, which I'll be linking above. I wouldn't call SAO the grandfather of isekai or anything like that, but it helped plant the seeds for the isekai surge that we've seen for the past half decade or so, and it's not anywhere close to being finished, as we'll be getting a movie later this year that chronicles more of the couple's growth and adventures in the early days of the first season. Next in line is Katana Gatari, and no, this series has nothing to do with Monogatari except for having the same author. I highly considered adding Monogatari in this list, but I feel it didn't make the cut because it doesn't have enough action. Anyway, where were we? Alright, okay, Katana Gatari. When I first saw Katana Gatari, I wasn't sure what to make of it. First thing that would stand out is the visuals, something that seemed completely unique given the state of anime as a whole at the time. Not helping with the Monogatari comparisons is the fact that Katana Gatari is also a series with lots of emphasis on dialogue. It's filled with witty and engaging conversations that could be a mixed bag, especially for those wanting more action. Given the nature of the series, with its main focus being the gradual development of Shichika and Togami's relationship, such a trade-off doesn't feel so bad after all. Overall, for those who want quite the flamboyant tale of romance and swords, Katana Gatari is something that you really do need to consider. Up next is Seven Deadly Sins.
Meliodas. それが俺の名前だ。
Who said that battle shonen has to be all about fighting, friendship, and dog shipping? Seven Deadly Sins proves otherwise, as it's a battle shonen that comes with some decently unique elements for the genre. One is that everyone, and I mean everyone, is crazy overpowered. The other, and what allows it to make this list, is how much the narrative focuses on the developing relationships. True to its primary genre, Seven Deadly Sins is more action than romance, and man oh man does it have some really epic moments. However, I think that the cool thing with the series is that the romance becomes more of a cornerstone than the rest of its shonen peers. It's actually one of the plot points that keeps the story going, more so than, say, Naruto and Hinata, or Ichigo and any of the two leading ladies. You see what I'm getting at, don't you? And it's not just Meliodas who gets the spotlight. Ban has one emotional romantic background of his own, and I do think that that particular backstory is one of my favorites in the series. If you're looking for a shonen to pick up, you might want to try Seven Deadly Sins. However, I have to warn you that the third season has been quite, controversial, at least in the anime adaptations department. You probably didn't expect a classic anime movie from the dawn of the millennium to appear all of a sudden on this list, but I think that the second movie for Vampire Hunter D is one of those oldies that have aged rather beautifully. When you look at the synopsis, you could feel that it's nothing too special, but for its time, Vampire Hunter D was a very influential relic of its time. Its story also holds up decently now, playing out like a good old Castlevania game or something. The story is streamlined and simple, but it does come with some twists to catch the audience off guard. It's a movie that's filled with action, intertwined with a surprisingly complex romantic plotline, at least in relation to your typical expectations for something that's like anime Van Helsing. If you're looking for an anime movie to watch over a weekend, you should try this one out. And number 3 is Yona of the Dawn. Period dramas can be considered quite a mixed bag in anime. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of them, but there are some that I truly enjoy for a reason or two. Among those, Yona of the Dawn is one of my favorites, and I think that it's a very underrated show that more people need to watch. Yona of the Dawn is one of the best coming-of-age stories that anime has to offer while making use of the kingdom setting. We all know those ambitious shows that more or less give fuel to the camp that praises anime as art. You know, those Violet Evergardens, those Your Names and such. That's understandable that we don't see Yona get talked about in the same capacity, but I think think that this tale of a princess having a life turned upside down and then being faced with the realities of a kingdom is probably just a step or two beneath those shows I've just mentioned. The animation is awesome, the storytelling is superb, and the character dynamics and the eventual romantic developments are all amazing. Yeah, I've vouched for this show before, and I still think it's one of those must-watch shows if you're into the genre. Next, we have arguably one of the best products Ufotable has put out in the modern era, Fate Stay Night. The Fate franchise has a long and storied history with its numerous adaptations, spin-offs and the like. As such, I've decided to include both Unlimited Blade Works and the Heaven's Feel movies as one Ufotable Fate Stay Night for this entry. While the romance mostly takes a backseat to the clash of ideals and the absolutely beautiful action sequences in these adaptations, it's arguably still there and plays quite the major role in the series. That's to be expected, considering the nature of the source material. Between the two, I'd put Heaven's Feel as the one with more emphasis on the romantic side of things. In fact, it's Shiro's relationship with Sakura that plays such a large part in moving the plot forward and directing him to his chosen path in the Heaven's Feel movies. It was a conflict between his ideals and his love that ultimately becomes the theme of the three movies, and it's something that you really have to watch unfold with your own eyes. Topping our list today is Rurouni Kenshin, Trust and Betrayal. One of the mini-series that made a mark in my heart is the 4-episode OVA of Rurouni Kenshin. It's a detailed look at the backstory of the man that we'd come to fear as Bartosai or love as Kenshin. In contrast to the TV series, Trust and Betrayal is considerably darker and more mature in its dramatic stakes, and this can be seen in its art and presentation overall. This mini-series also tackles the relationship between Kenshin and Tomoe, one of the most gripping stories of unlikely romance in anime. It just works so well with the dark and brooding overtone that the OVA is made with, and it overall helped enhance what's already an engaging story of love and redemption, just taking it to another level. Rurouni Kenshin, the main series, is already considered by many to be one of the masterpieces of shonen anime, at least before filler hell took over. Trust and Betrayal ups the ante, drives up the dramatic stakes, and gives us a very clear look at the prelude to one of anime's most beloved characters in Kenshin, making this an absolute must-watch for both fans of the series and those looking for a great anime that combines both heart-pounding action and intriguing romance. So, have you watched all of these titles? Care to share some of your favorites or other recommendations of your own? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and share it with your friends who might also be interested in this content.